What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It is your boy D Dice, and now today, what I wanted to go over is, review rather, the first episode of season 8 of Game of Thrones. Now, Game of Thrones has been highly anticipated because it hasn't came out in about a year and a half. It came out in 2017. So nothing all last year, and now the last season. Now, what I just found out about this season is that we only have 5 more episodes left. Only 5. So it's about to go so fast. And even with it going so fast is that you got to pack a lot of stuff in. So now that a lot more people has became Game of Thrones fans and binge watched Game of Thrones before it came out, I see the hype train came. They promoted it. We got some Oreos with Game of Thrones. I seen there was a wine with Game of Thrones that I got to go find. I definitely want to get that. And just the lure around Game of Thrones. Now, this is not your average season, season 1 through 7. This is the last season. So this is very big. It's very epic. And it started out with Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen and her army coming into Winterfell. And you just get to see the faces of all the people from the north, kind of like they're not really receptive to outsiders as far as, people from the south, given that they already know the news about what happened to Ned Stark, which he got beheaded when he was in King's Landing in season 1. So now the north doesn't really trust anyone other than the person from the north. So when Daenerys is riding through, they're all giving her dirty looks, bad looks. And, Miss Sunday and Grey Worm, they're both looking like, damn, they really don't like us up here. And Daenerys is like, I can care less. Look at my dragons. And the dragons came in and she just like, yeah, I ain't your average outsider. I ain't your average person from the south. I got dragons, something that you ain't seen since you've been born or you only heard stories about. I got them. So that's why I like the lore, because I want to see how receptive the North and everyone works together. Now, when they got into the meeting hall, you kind of sense the tension between Sansa and Daenerys, because Sansa, just like you could tell, she's grown smarter. She's grown very aware of how people are. So she's trying to protect her home, lost it to Ramsay. She was like, we got it back. We ain't losing this again. So we don't need your help. I don't like you. I don't want you here. I don't want nobody other than the North here. So she has some backlash towards Khaleesi, and you could just see how that unfolds. And then you get a good sense of Sansa and Tyrion together. They haven't seen each other since, I believe, season 2, when Joffrey got poisoned at his wedding, and she went off with Peter Baelish, and he had to flee too. So technically they're still married. That's what's so funny. They haven't gotten an annulment or anything. They're technically still married, and you just haven't seen them talk to each other since then. And he's kind of like, man, you grown up, you grew smarter. I'm surprised, and I'm very happy that you did. And she was like, yeah, we both survived. So it's kind of different because, when he greeted her, it was like the Lady of Winterfell. I just like that banter between the two. And then when they got done, you just see Bran staring at him, knowing that Bran knows all. So Bran has seen both of their lives play out. And he looked at Tyrion more than he did Sansa. So it had that lasting image of, you're a Lannister. So I want to know what happened to you. And I'm very hopeful that they kind of dive into that just a little bit, of who Tyrion is, because I want to hear it's a lot of theory out there that Tyrion is a Targaryen with Tywin's wife, because, when Tywin's dying words was, you're no son of mine, so it will be interesting to kind of see the backstory of Tyrion. So he might be a Targaryen after all. Who knows? So moving forward with that, you got to see Jon Snow and Arya reunite for the first time since season 1. And that's what's so crazy about it, that it's so funny how they meet because he was like, how'd you sneak up on me? I didn't hear you. And she's like, how'd you survive a knife to the chest? He's like, I didn't. So I was hoping that they're like, yeah, so you're dead? Or what happened? Like, I want to know what happened. So even with him asking, so where were you this whole time? Like, where were you when me and Sansa was here? Like, if you was around, where were you? And she was like, oh yeah, I'm siding with Sansa. She's the smartest woman I've ever known. Me and Sansa never got along ever, since we were kids. We never got along, but I'm happy that us three is all together with Bran. And even when Bran saw Jon, Bran is like, man, I'm not even your brother no more, dude. I'm the Three-Eyed Raven. I'm not who you think I am, so it's just seeing how they have that camaraderie because they haven't seen each other since season 1, knowing that they saw each other they introduced themselves in season 1, and then it's the last season and you haven't seen them between the duration of the whole show. So that was something that was near and dear to me, to actually see them, rekindle and kind of talk about what's happened and everything. And then you move on to Cersei welcoming in Theon Greyjoy, and how he's just, despicable dude. He was like, man, I'm gonna fuck the queen. That's what I'm gonna do. He did it because I was like, and then you see Theon Greyjoy. Theon comes back, saves his sister, and they was like, well, let's just sail home, because if Euron's out here, he has a whole fleet out here. How about we just sail home and make it our home? We'll go to war with him later, and if Dany needs any type of, if they have to fall back, they have to come to the island. The dead can't come to the islands. So they have to travel through the water to get to our island. So why don't we just wait for Dany there? And Theon had that, man, I need to make it right face. And she was like, you want to march back to Winterfell to help the Starks? And he was kind of like, yeah, I need to make it right. I'm sorry. I can't be here. And he needs to make it, like, he needs that justification of all the shit that he's been through, cut off his cock, and now he's like on the road to redemption. So admirable, but it's just cool to see how all this plays out. And then, you get to see Dany and Jon finally rides the dragons, which everyone is saying, shit, if you get to ride the dragon, they said in the books, the only people that can ride a dragon is the Targaryen. So why didn't both of them kind of feel like, hey, you might be a Targaryen, but Dany's feel was, because you have love for me, they'll let you ride them because you love me. But my thing is, okay, if you feel that same love that, okay, my dragons is going to allow you to ride them, why didn't she do that with her boyfriend dude? And where is that dude? The dude with the second sons, where is he? I mean, he's still a Marine, but, I'm kind of like, why didn't he get to ride the dragon, but whatever. And then you fast forward to Daenerys finally meeting Sam, knowing that Sam saved Ser Jorah's life, with the grayscale. So they meet, and he's like, Ser Jorah's kind of like, man, I owe him everything. I owe him my life. It's this huge debt that, he worked on me and he got me well. So this is the man who worked on me. So she was like, man, whatever you need. He was like, yeah, I need a pardon, which was really funny because he was like, I stole all the books from the Citadel, the one that was important. And he was like, yeah, I'm Samuel Tarly. And she kind of was like, damn, so you're the son of Randall Tarly. And he was like, yeah. So, gave him the news that Dany, killed Sam's dad and his brother. So he didn't take it very well. He was hurt. And he had to go tell Jon, because as he was running out, he ran into Bran. Bran was like, you need to go tell Jon. Sorry. And when you go to the crypts of Winterfell, they had that conversation. Like, did you know that, she killed, would you have shown him mercy? And he was like, I've killed people. I gave him mercy too. So he was like, what would you have done? He was like, man, I ain't the king. I don't care. Like, I'm sorry. That was her will. And that's when Sam tells him the news that he's Aegar Targaryen. And he's half Targaryen, half Stark. Blew Jon's mind. And I just love how they just focused in on Jon's face receiving the news, because we all knew the news last season. And we just wanted to see his face when he finally found out. And he tried to mask it. It was like, yeah, my dad lied to me my whole life. And Sam was like, no, he just swore an oath to protect you. If anybody found out that you were a Targaryen, they would have been killed you. So he was like, damn, boom, bomb just dropped. So it gets from that factor to Jaime Lannister arriving in Winterfell. And Jaime looks grungy, he looks dirty, he looking like Snake off of Metal Gear Solid with he just looks all grungy and like one hand, he just kind of like, and then the first person as he sees in Winterfell is Bran. Haven't seen him since season 1. You the one who got Bran like that in the first place, pushing him off the tower, making him paralyzed. But you can tell Bran is like, I've seen your whole life too. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be the three-eyed raven. So I forgive you, whatever. But so in the kind of preview of next season, they hold Jaime in court. So I think they put Jaime in jail. And now Tyrion is down there like, yeah, we need to talk. And so the North doesn't feel the same, knowing that I think they're going to come out and say, yeah, you pushed my brother, or you're a traitor because, you know, you're a Kingslayer, you with the Lannisters, you were Cersei. So what are you really doing here? You know, as knowing that he has a noble, I want to fight, what is your real intention? So they lock him away. So I'm so excited. It's a lot to jam pack in. 5 more episodes. So the war is happening. So after episode 2, episode 3, 4, I feel like it's going to be all battle. 5 and 6 is going to be after the battle, who's left standing. So if you enjoyed my review of Game of Thrones, Season 8, Episode 1, subscribe to my channel, post a comment down below, and like this video. It is your boy, D. Dyson. Peace.